what's up guys, it's Midwestern RC. What does this big red Slurpee and my new RC car, new to me, have in common? Why, they're both big and red, of course. So, after getting the Outcast 4S, I had a 6S Outcast EXB, and I needed the 5th scale. So this is the 8S Outcast. It's not the EXB version, which is fine. I do plan on upgrading it in the future. Over winter, I plan on doing a bunch of M2C racing parts, probably EXB arms. I'm gonna buy some spare parts like differentials, rod ends, a bunch of other stuff that commonly goes wrong with this car. I don't plan on going super crazy with this thing, going off massive jumps as much as I want to, but mainly if you've ever driven a big car like this and ripped around and just done wheelies in the grass and everybody that's watching you is like, that's so cool, blah, blah, blah. Which sometimes is fun and sometimes it's a bit much just because you got things to do and tons of people are trying to stop you and talk to you, which is usually fine, but sometimes you gotta be places. So today we're gonna be showing you how I take care of a new to me RC car, what to look out for, what to do in terms of maintenance, how I clean them. Everybody's different, by the way. Now, technically, this is my biggest car that I own. I owned one that was bigger, and that was a Creighton 8S, which is a 5th scale truck, just like this, but the Outcast is a shorter wheelbase, so it can do wheelies and backflips and stunts easier, hence this is a stunt truck. This is, being a 5th scale, it's as big as my X-Max. I didn't believe it. I actually thought this was a longer wheelbase. The X-Max, I've heard it's a 6th scale. I've heard it's a 5th scale. As far as I'm concerned, no one really knows. So this thing is heavy. I'm gonna bring the X-Max out and let you guys just kind of compare. It takes up just about the same space. My gear cover just came off because I'm actually working on this thing. Got a bunch of stuff to do to it. So the Outcast 8S, basically as big as the X-Max. We'll see if it's as much fun. I'm gonna bring out 2 other cars that are also monsters and let you guys see. All right, so next up, we have my SCX6. A 6th scale rock crawler with a 2-speed transmission, which is really nice. Body's off. I have a bunch of stuff done to this. Love this car, by the way. It's longer. I wasn't expecting that. It's a little, I mean, with the wheelie bar and the wing, they're just as big. But obviously the Outcast is much wider. So then next up, we have the Arrma Fire Team, a 1/7 scale, quickly becoming a favorite of mine. So there's your size comparison. Outcast, much wider, by the way. Now this car being new to me, there's a few things that I gotta say. After being in this enough that I can kind of know what to look out for, especially even just in pictures on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, wherever you try to buy them. Pictures. This thing, every bolt in the picture, 0 rust. The body, incredibly clean. The pictures, you could literally see the cobwebs. So the guy that I bought it from, who was amazing, by the way, really cool guy, really into the hobby, we had very similar interests. The guy had said that this thing has been sitting for almost a year, and I believe him because there is cobwebs on it. So he said he used it for wheelies, not much else. I'll try to bring it up in close. Pop the body off. And I'll show you the body first. Not many scratches, no cracks in the body. This is in good shape. He didn't flip it over. Nothing on the rails. There is a little bit of the shock towers kind of poking up, I'm not too concerned about that. You might have just done a wheelie and landed it on the back. I'm not sure. Now we'll see how long I can hold this thing for, because it is pretty big. You can see the dust. You can see the dirt. But look at underneath the chassis. Super clean, minimal scratches. The bolts clearly have never seen water, which is a really good thing. Plastics are pretty clean. The tires, they're a little worn down. Nothing I'm concerned about. The biggest thing that we're going to be checking with the tires, which you should do with every car, even RTR, brand new by the way, after we get these tires off, we're going to peel the rubber back and see if it needs to be glued anywhere. This is an 8S powered car, has a lot of torque, it has a lot of inertia in the wheels that can separate the glue from the wheel. So for the first step, what I always like to do and start with is I like to wipe the car down. I do use CowRC Hide wipes. What I really like about this product, besides the fact that it smells really good, I mean, it could be like a cologne or something, is it has a smoother side and it has like a more abrasive side. So this is really nice for after bashing. This is really nice for just cleaning dust off or something that you really don't need too much grit for. So we're just gonna start going over the whole car. I know I should be taking the body off to do this. I will do that in a second. I honestly just have not seen this thing clean yet. It's all had the dust on it and everything. And yeah, I just want to see it on with a quick little wipe down. This thing is gorgeous. I love this car already. It looks so good. All right, time to get the body off and then the wheels. All right, guys, now that we got the wheels and the tires off, we're gonna take the Jet Blaster Turbo from CowRC along with the Moo Clean, the parts and chassis wash, which is also great for tires and wheels. And we're gonna go downstairs in the basement. I spray them down in the tub, I rinse them off, I hit them with this. You don't need this. You don't even need to rinse them off. You can actually just spray, apply, let it do its thing. But I'm just gonna do this because it's a little quicker. All right, so another thing I'm just gonna show with one, anytime you get a used or RTR car, you wanna check the bead of the tire. You wanna make sure it's not separating from the wheel, which in this case, it's not. If it was, let's say right up here, if it was separating from the bead, you just peel it back, you take tire glue. I just use Proline's tire glue. Put a gentle, slight little bead, press it in, hold it right there. Dries pretty quick. Make sure it's not torn or separating. Now this is usually the part where I actually take CowRC Moo Clean. I spray down the chassis. Mainly, I spray down the arms, I spray down the front. You try to avoid the electronics with it. Spray down the back, spray down the shock towers, everything. Flip it over, hit the back side or the underside, and then let it sit for a few minutes. And then I'll take my Jet Blaster Turbo and blow it off. Unfortunately, I'm recording late at night. I have neighbors that are literally feet away from my house, unfortunately. So that's not gonna be happening because it's almost midnight. So what I'm gonna do instead is basically just wipe it down with the Hide wipes, and then it should do the trick. I am gonna do the Moo Clean tomorrow though. So that was done just with one hide wipe. I could have used two, but I'm just trying to demonstrate and show how effective these things are. See if I can flip it over one-handed. I did miss some spots. That's okay. I'm gonna use the parts and chassis wash tomorrow for that. Get this thing super clean, looking brand new. This is another new or RTR trick. I've had new cars with bolts that are loose. I've had RTR cars with bolts that are loose, stripped out, rusted. So I'm not gonna obviously check every single bolt for YouTube. I'm not even gonna do a time lapse of that, but this is just something I'm gonna do on my own time. But check every single bolt, make sure it's tight. One little bolt coming out could be the difference between a part slipping off and breaking, etc., etc. Now, another thing I like to do, I like to research every car. Like Arrma Forum is great for this. I found out, well, I knew because I had the Creighton 8S before, that the pillow ball inserts like to back out. So when I picked up this car, the guy let me drive it around. I didn't smash it or bash it or anything. I just drove it. And I noticed the right wheel was a little wobbly. I immediately knew what was wrong. And I knew that these inserts will like to back out. One of the ways you can fix that is actually by removing them and applying Teflon tape around it and then putting it back in. If you have one of these cars and if you're watching this and if you're about to do it, by the way, when you put the pillow balls back in, this goes for the 8S and the 6S cars, you don't have to have them super tight. If you have them super tight, you're not gonna be able to steer. Usually you get them snug and then you back it off about 1/4 to 1/2 of a turn. That's at least what I've heard. If you've heard different, let me know. I did pick up some Teflon tape today, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. We don't need much. I'm just gonna do about 1.5, 2 passes with it to about there. And this can be the tricky part. You kind of smush it in there, mold it in. This rarely happens when they go and thread in the right way on the first time. I got lucky, or maybe it's just the experience because I did this with my Creighton 8S probably 2 or 3 times. So there, it's pretty loose. Car can still steer. So I'm gonna back it off, probably 1/4 of a turn. That should be solid, that should be snug. All right, so while I'm getting the wheels back on, another thing I'd like to talk about with these cars, and this just goes to show that you should look into, if you're getting a new RC car that's new to you, or if it's just new in general, look into issues that commonly happen. So with these cars specifically, well, the 8S line, the stock shock fluid is so thick for the rod ends, or not the rod ends, the shock shafts, that is why they bend. I mean, even right there, I know this is a big heavy car, but when I get all 4 wheels on, I can demonstrate a little better. All right, now that I got the body back on, this will really show. You really have to push this thing down to get the shocks to fully compress. And it comes up a little slow too. This car, I plan on enjoying on the grass, enjoying it on the street, ripping wheelies, maybe very, very small jumps, nothing crazy, just enjoying it as it is right now. Over winter, I will be doing a M2C build on it. I don't know if I'm gonna go full M2C chassis. I'm gonna do EXP arms, M2C shock shafts, M2C O-rings, M2C center braces. We're gonna be doing the M2C drive shafts all around. So let's talk differentials. I don't have the time or the memory on my phone, unfortunately, to record me doing all 3 differentials, nor do I think you want to see that, even if it was a time lapse. So I'm going to show you a Creighton 8S differential, the same differential that's in here. When I had my Creighton 8S, I did not go through the differentials. I was newer to RC. I didn't understand things as much. I didn't understand the importance of checking things like this. So as you can see, this, I kid you not, the front diff blew. I replaced both. This one was good. This is how much fluid was in the differential. Literally bone dry. So tomorrow I will be going through the front, center, and the rear. I will most likely leave the stock center diff at the stock recommended fluid for now, as I don't want to put too thick of fluid in there, because that can actually make the differential get very hot, heat up, and have issues. Another thing with differentials, and I'm just going to use this to demonstrate how easy it is to apply. This is Cow RC's Utter Butter. It's a waterproof grease, super sticky. You can just put a nice bead on like so. Some people smush it in. I like to actually just install it, ring it around a few times, and then it does its job. It gets into the pinion gear as well. Stays on the crown gear very good too. Shimming the differentials is also a very important thing. Watch another YouTube video for that. I don't have one on this channel just yet. I will be sure to cover that in the future. If a differential is not shimmed properly, there's going to be too much side-to-side play. You can strip a crown gear, you can strip a pinion, you can blow a differential. You don't want that. This is kind of extra credit. This is called Moose Slick. Okay, so it's an industrial grade RC silicone protector, and it forms a dry dirt repelling film. It's good for all exposed gears, repels corrosion and dirt, and it's great for suspension parts. Yes, I literally just read you that. So I'll spray it on the A-arms, I'll spray it on the back. I won't spray it near the electronics. I'll spray it in the bearings. I'll spray the underside of the chassis as well. Honestly, why I really like this stuff is because in between bashing, whether it's just going on the grass, going on dirt, going on the street or whatever, you don't have to do as much cleaning afterwards, if anything. If any of these products that I use today interest you, by the way, I am sponsored by them. You can get 15% off your first order using code MWRC for Midwestern RC. I don't get any kickback from it. It just kind of helps you out, helps the team out, helps the business out.